children to do. Okay. Hello, Zonia.
Hi. How are you? And how are the horses?
I think we're all. I think things are tense. We've had a few speed bumps since the destinyification of my channel, and the first big speed bump was Shaylin in the Real Doll review.
I do
There's a.
recall.
Don't lie to me.
Why would you think I'm lying to you?
The second there's a minor speed bump when I said that I don't compliment Shaylin, and I think that compliments are like outmoded as a way
Hmm.
of making people feel good. A lot of people were really upset about that for like a few weeks, but this feels like a big speed bump of telling people that I'm taking their framing of their identity as having ADHD away. Somebody was arguing with me about this. They're like, "I hope you realize that everything you're saying is bullshit." And I was like, on a whim, I was like, "I'm gonna check this guy's profile and see if ADHD is in his bio," and it was. I was like, I think Doobie's right. I'm challenging your identity. Okay,
Yeah. Largely, I haven't disagreed with a lot of what you said so far tonight. Um,
nice.
so I think you and I view things similarly in that respect.
Yeah.
Uh, but I have a more interesting topic that you might want to talk about. It's related, but a little different.
Okay.
It's about self diagnosis and people assigning themselves diagnostic labels as an identity,
Yeah.
and the rising popularity of people identifying with multiple disorders, self diagnosed, and turning them into their personality and identity.
Yeah.
Um, do you, so first of all, I'm sure you've observed this phenomena, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that it casts sort of that it creates a bit of a problem for people who are genuinely diagnosed with those disorders?
Probably. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I know I run into a situation where if somebody tells me that they've got, ADHD, for instance, I will oftentimes doubt that in my head. I'll be like, do they really have ADHD? Or is this something they've just told themselves, or they saw it on a TikTok video and identified with it? A lot of this stuff, like, so you took courses in psychology, and I'm
I
sure
got a
you
whole
probably
degree in psychology.
did. You ever have the whole thing where like your professors will warn you that, by the way, when you're reading through these symptoms, you're going to identify with them and you're going to start thinking that you have them? Did you
Yeah.
ever get that whole spiel? Yeah,
Yeah.
I, I got that spiel as well. Um,
Right. You can't
it's
self-diagnose because they said specifically um, psycho pathology is an extension of normal human experience. So you
Yeah.
have had all these things happen to you. Everybody's hallucinated. Everybody's forgotten stuff. Everybody's not been able to pay attention to something. Everybody's
Hmm.
depressed. These are all things that happen to you, but you're gonna want to self-diagnose. And
And you're going to find patterns. Is the same way that when you
yeah,
read your horoscope, you're going to identify with it, and somebody else will take that same horoscope and read it, and they'll identify with it. And it's something that we do. We're pattern finders, and of course, we all kind of suffer from pathologizing symptoms and such within ourselves.
yeah,
So, um, I definitely noticed there's a growing trend of this, and it creates issues. Like, this is something I even noticed ages ago. I was telling Elder Drazi this story, and some of the others when I was sitting in the waiting room. Um, so I have celiac disease. And I was diagnosed with it back in 2012 after having a lot of medical complications, losing a lot of blood. I was anemic for a long time, kept getting really sick, landed in the hospital. And then, after a lot of testing and a lot of investigation, I finally ended up getting diagnosed with celiac disease. And as soon as I started getting off of, consuming anything with gluten in it, I started recovering.
yeah,
But one of the problems that I learned soon after that was that I would go into restaurants and I'd say, hey, do you have any gluten-free options? And they'd be like, oh yeah, sure, we've got gluten-free options. And the problem that I was finding is that there was sort of a deception to that, not intentionally on the part of the people working at the restaurant, but there was a trend around that same time of people going into restaurants wanting gluten-free options, and they would
Right. So
claim,
it wouldn't be as gluten free because it's just to kind of appease
yeah,
people's self diagnosis.
yeah, and the people working at the restaurants didn't know this. And they didn't
Right.
understand. And so they would say, well, it's gluten free. And well, it's not, because it would have all kinds of cross contamination. And the next thing you know, the next day, I'm shitting blood, you know? So it was something I had to learn. It was my first real glimpse into that kind of problem where something becomes sort of a trend, and it actually casts a pallor on those who actually are negatively affected by the thing, and it causes issues. And this was a very difficult thing to try to like get to communicate with restaurants, or chefs or whatever, when I go to a restaurant. And I realized after a while I just couldn't trust any of them unless the restaurant itself was completely gluten free, or talked about that they understood what celiac disease, and they prepared everything in a separate area with separate utensils and separate,
Right.
garments and everything. So,
So you're saying that self-diagnosing people are taking real attention away from people who actually have ADHD.
well, they also create a stigma around it in a way, because then you have the negative effect of people seeing a bunch of other people who identify with something, but it not being an accurate representation of what that thing is.
Hmm.
And when that becomes popular, that colors the popular view of that thing. So in the case of
Right. So
celiac disease,
gluten intolerance is seen as a made up thing that people want attention generally.
and then people would think the same thing about celiac disease as well.
Right. Yeah.
And that caused issues, like actual repercussions, that I had physical ailments. So I can see the same kind of thing happening with people with like various symptomology,
Yeah.
that they basically, somebody said it, I think it was Elder Drazi said it in the waiting room, that it's almost like a stolen valor in a way, though I don't think that's the best term for it. It's more about that people are hijacking these terms, using them for their identities, turning it into a spectacle, broadcasting it everywhere, it's becoming popular, and then people start associating those trendy behaviors with that diagnosis, which they don't even have, but they claim to.
I agree with you.
So, what is like I see a problem where I see a
Okay, but do you think that's
combination.
true of trans people?
I think there are some people like that that are,
Let's
we
go
refer to
there.
them as trenders.
Let's go
But
there.
why you always got to bring everything back to trans people, yo?
Because um, far too often people want to speak out against every group but their own. And I find that increases polarization. And so I want to make sure if you're going to say something about conservatives, you're willing to say it about liberals. If you're going to say something about other, psychological issues, I want to make sure that I want to see what you say about fucking trans people. What's up?
Hey, I eat bullets for breakfast. My
I do.
bioaccumulation of lead is almost deadly.
I figured that would be your response. I just want to, hear you say it. What can I say? I'm a sick man. I have
Got an
I,
obsession
I,
there?
a what?
Got a little bit of an obsession there? Got to see people bite those bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so um, I see a combination of problems. It seems almost like it's, in a way, it's its own pathology. Okay, so one symptom of the pathology is the overprescription of drugs and the willingness to kind of give people a pill and then write it off, and then boom, done, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're then treated. But that isn't technically treatment, that's suppression of symptoms for most people. In some cases, it's treatment, but in most cases, it's usually, for these types of diagnoses, it's more of a suppression of symptoms, like you were talking
Okay.
about with.
Wait, Zonia, you're describing a large, complex thing that I agree with. So I
Yeah,
feel like we should wrap this up pretty soon. Can you
true.
Can you bring it home?
Yeah, so what would be like, what do you think would be the direction? Like, how do we solve this problem, the growing overprescription of drugs, using them as a long-term suppression of symptoms instead of treatment, and people identifying with these diagnoses and self-diagnosing and turning them into identities and such? Like, what do you think is, it's a big growing problem and it's a big
I think we
mess.
stigmatize people wanting attention in a way that it's really um, unhealthy and unfair, especially young people. But even with me, people are constantly like, "Oh, you just want attention. Oh, you just want people to care about you and love you."
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Well, we hate it, especially when young women want attention. We just fucking hate them, and it's like, so of course, when they find a safe way, it's like it's almost like a diagnosis is a way to ask for attention that people will not attack you for. And like if that's what people need, if people need attention and they need attention from, that's not going to be connected to like being called a slut, then yeah, maybe these kids just need to dress sluttier and we need to be nicer to them. I don't know. I just feel like we need to destigmatize getting attention so that people aren't trying to figure out ways to game the system to get that attention without the stigma that comes with it.
So, universal distribution of attention.
I think a desig no.
The problem, though, is that it's not
Yeah.
just attention, because a lot of people will use these self-ascribed diagnoses,
Yeah.
self-assigned diagnoses, as a means to evade criticism. They'll use it as a shield from criticism and such.
Yeah, and so some criticism is should not be evaded, but I think the criticism of you just want attention, you disgusting slutty little bitch. I think that we should criticize people less for wanting attention. I think that's fucked up. I think that would help. I don't think it would solve it, but it would help. Basically, I'm
Hmm.
saying I think I want to solve it by these kids need something or want something, or young people, they want something. They're trying to get something by claiming they have a diagnosis or whatever, or by being super public about it. Let's try to give them what they want. Let's try to figure out what they need and meet those needs rather than shaming them for having them, which I think just makes it worse when we say like, "Oh, some blue-haired trans blah blah." Oh yeah, that's like, well, like no, you don't have to be mean to people for wanting attention. Like
Hmm.
fuck that like, well, I think they need more attention and like kindness. So
Yeah,
I
I
get,
would agree with that. That
yeah,
um, that'd be nice if people did that. I feel like the way that our society has developed, especially online, has created a bunch of a sea full of sharks.
yeah.
So you'll get kind of attacked for wanting attention. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm a friendly dolphin, and I'm gonna just nuzzle up to everybody's legs.
dolphins rape other dolphins.
Yes, I didn't choose the species by accident.
So
They have a prehensile penis, as I
yeah, they'll
believe.
rape the blowhole. It's crazy.
They'll wrap that fucker around your leg. So anyway, listen. I gotta end this.
Yeah,
Thank you for calling.
I'm sorry I
Uh,
couldn't be controversial again.
no, that's okay. Always a pleasure. Always a treasure.
I could say some slurs, right? Am I allowed to say
I,
slurs on this channel?
no, I don't want you to
No,
do
he
that.
wouldn't let me either. It's really sad.
I know.
No.
Okay. Well,